is the end near for Hugo Chavez and the unique brand of anti-American populist policy he pursued in Venezuela? It would seem so after El Comandante, that's his nickname, announced he will have to fly back to Cuba for treatment on his cancer, and he actually anointed for the first time a successor, a former bus driver and current Vice President Nicolas Maduro. Momentous days in Venezuela, and we're joined now to discuss all of this from our Caracas correspondent, Kehal Vyas. Kehal, how are you?
Hey, Francisco, thanks for having me.
Great piece today. It's an important moment that you're witnessing right there. I mean, first of all, tell us what's the mood on the streets of Caracas, and what are people saying about this decision by Chavez to fly back to Cuba?
Well, it's certainly alarming on the one sense. Yesterday, we saw a lot of Chavista congressmen use the word sadness. They were meeting to approve Chavez's next trip to Cuba. He left actually earlier this morning. And they used the word sadness, but they were also kind of keen to point out that they can easily turn the sadness into, their drive to keep the revolution going. That's expected from their part. But for the rest of the Venezuelan public, I would say uncertainty is the big theme, because we still don't know what kind of cancer Chavez has, where it is. We have very little information, except the signs seem to point to that the situation is getting worse.
Now, tell us a little bit about Nicolas Maduro, the vice president, who was also the foreign minister, and in fact had played an instrumental role, I think, in forging ties between Venezuela and other anti-American countries around the world. So we don't expect a major change, even if he were to take power, right?
Not entirely. I mean, the reason a lot of people will say the reason he's gotten so close or so high up in the Chavista ranks is really because he's been very close to Chavez. And what I hear a lot is the reason why Chavez likes him a lot is because he's shown a real willingness to lend an ear to the Cubans, who Chavez, as you know, he sees former Cuban leader Fidel Castro as a mentor and a father figure. So you're not expected to see too much change, on the policy front if Maduro were to take over. But the bigger issue will be whether he'll be able to keep the Chavista party, unified. He has kind of lacks much of the same charisma that Chavez has, and he was actually very largely unknown in Venezuela before, kind of going under Chavez's wing.
Chavez has had his supporters on the streets. We've seen photos of people weeping, and you can see now here, celebrating and greeting Chavez. I mean, how genuine is that, and how much will could that fall apart after Chavez goes?
Hard to really tell. I mean, yesterday, actually, the day on Saturday night after Chavez announced that his cancer had recurred, the information minister here called for countrywide gatherings in plazas, and state TV was very adamant in showing groups of well-wishers and just hardline Chavez supporters who were praying and crying for their comandante. Again, since state media here plays such a big role in how the government is, how the operations of government are managed, it's hard to know how much of that was orchestrated and how much of that is actually genuine.
What about the economy? The Venezuelan economy is in deep trouble despite the oil riches that the country has. Can we expect any change there, any improvement for the people and the economy itself?
Well, actually, it's an interesting question because of Chavez's health situation. A lot of analysts are expecting very key economic policy decisions to be kind of put on delay. I mean, Venezuela has a tendency of running on standby mode whenever Chavez is out of the office. And one of the biggest economic decisions that needs to be made soon is a devaluation of the currency. Venezuela has a very strict set exchange rate with the dollar of 4.3 bolivares per dollar. But on the black market right now, you're hearing of people exchanging their dollars for 15, 16 bolivares on the street because there's just not enough hard currency flowing through the local economy, which people really need to do overseas business.
Yeah, so it doesn't sound that good, unfortunately. But unfortunately, we have to leave it there. But we'll hear a lot more from you, Kehal, and from Venezuela in the coming days, I'm sure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And good luck on your reporting.